Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to 101 on Arsenal, and we've got some faces that you haven't seen in a while, man. Vincey, how have you been? You've been busy on your travels. Every time we're doing a podcast, you're on the road, in hotels. Life is good, my brother.
I'm just, just trying to do a little something. I'm all good. I'm just trying out these new varifocals, but old man glasses. So it's feeling a little bit dizzy right now, but it's good to be back with the family, man. It's good to be back.
Excellent, excellent. Ebony, how have you been? I haven't seen you in ages.
Yeah. I've been every time you've had a watch along, I've been at work or I've been doing something else. But it's all good. It's all good. We're doing well, and we will continue to do well, as I keep telling people. So keep the faith, people. Keep the faith.
Yeah, you did say it, and I just got my message from Tom. Tom has given me his predictions for the last few games, and I think you guys know where Tom is coming from. Gary, how have you been, bro?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad.
So Gary's about to meet Mikel or Michael or Mike or whatever it is. Gary, tell us about your new friend that you're looking to keep you company.
Well, you know what it is, mate. It's not. I bought a girl, didn't I? So I've called her. I've called her Lily. I couldn't wait for a boy, so I've got a girl.
So I'm just thinking, Arsenal players, females. You could have called her Beth.
Leah.
Come on.
Yeah, there's a few names that you could have called her.
And there she is. Look, there she is.
There she is.
There she is.
I can refer to my Arsenal ladies calendar.
Yeah, give me some names.
I thought Gary was thinking. I thought it was a human being he was talking about.
I know.
Yeah,
I've been looking to get a dog for a while.
Have the same sort of presence and rights as a human does, but that's how.
Yeah, exactly.
British love their dogs more than humans, man.
Jordan, you can call it Jordan. Her Jordan.
Yeah, they love their dogs more than human beings.
So she's only 11 weeks old, so she doesn't know her name yet. So maybe there's a room for change. We'll see.
Or Vivian.
I might call her Premier League winner.
Yeah, I mean that was so quick. Yesterday you was like, I need a dog. Next minute, dog.
Yeah, I don't muck about, mate. I don't muck about.
Wow, my wife's been asking me for years, and the answer is always, I'm a cat person. That's why.
We know it was. I had a staff for 14 years, and I had to put him down last year, and it broke me, and I wasn't ready. But now I was ready to get back into the old dog business.
Yeah, I like pets that when you get them, they can look after themselves. Dogs are like kids, man. It's too much work. It's too much work.
Yeah,
that's right. I've got a big part right opposite my house. I'll just open the door and let her go.
So the British in me left a long time ago. I grew up in Jamaica. Dogs stay one place and human beings stay someplace else.
But in Jamaica, they don't look after cats and dogs properly.
That's what I said to them, Gary. Do you know what they call? Do you know what they call dogs' pet names in Jamaica?
Dog.
That's the name of your dog is Dog.
Come here, dog. Come, cat.
Bertram, how have you been, man? How's your Sunday?
My Sunday is good. I realized actually that there's things to do on the weekend apart from watching football. It's really interesting. Not watching. I did watch the England game. I shouldn't say I didn't watch it. I did watch the England.
Did you see Saka's goal today?
He scored a brilliant goal. Yes, he did. He scored a brilliant goal. And he's been touted for Player of the Year. But I find it interesting. I'm trying to figure out what's the criteria that we're using. Is it pure stats? What is the criteria? Because Haaland is being touted as the Player of the Year by most. So I guess is it all stats based, or are we thinking about other factors?
Well, I think I was watching.
You tell us.
I was watching the Independent podcast, and they were talking about Saka's England's best player, and they use two things. They obviously use the goals and assists. How much are you involved in that? And then the metrics. and we know about metrics as Tony uses who scored quite a lot. So they use a level of metrics and obviously goals and assists, and he tops the team. He's been man of the match in 4 out of their last 6 games. That's ridiculous.
That's how much.
Was it 7 goals in 12 starts for England, isn't it?
It's
For Saka?
ridiculous.
Listen, if Arsenal,
He has 8 goals in total. I think he has 4 in his last 6, but he only scored a few in his first 20. So he's been
put it this way,
on fire.
for me, whoever wins the league, if City wins the league, then they'll give it to Haaland. If Arsenal win the league, they'll give it to Saka, because he's for England. He's beaten his goals scored from last season. For everything that the guy's done, and to take Arsenal to the promised land. Yeah, they can't give him a blight and say,
that's the conversation we was having the other day, me and Tony, on one of the streams. If Arsenal do go on to win the league, it has to be either him or Odegaard that gets player of the season.
Yeah, because right now, them guys got together, James Benge, John, what's his surname again? John Morris, is it? And Charles Watts got together. These are the writers, correspondents from various publications, and they normally do a podcast together. And they were talking about the fact that they can't see past Saka winning Player of the Year, even if Man City win the league. That's nuts. I mean, I get that. It depends.
No, it's not nuts because he's British. Come on.
It depends, I guess.
If
Haaland breaks records, then they've got something to go on there.
What do you mean if he breaks records?
Yeah.
He's been breaking records. His scoring rate is probably the best in history at the rate he's going.
But there's still 10 games to go, I think. So we can, when we got a final answer on that, Bertram, I think that they'll be able to say something when his name's in the record book. At the moment, yeah, he's broken some records, but the season hasn't finished.
Apollo, he has 28 in 26. What are you talking about, some records?
I know.
I mean, 28 in 26?
Yeah, but he's not doing anything different. He's not doing anything different that we've seen Ronaldo, Messi, and them guys do in their leagues. It's not.
No. Let's not confuse the leagues. This is the hardest league in the world by a good distance. There's no comparison. Right? We say if you prove the Premier League, you've proved yourself. This is not the Italian league. It's not the Bush League in League One. It's not La Liga where only 2 or 3 teams play. This is the Premier League. As you guys tell me, on any given day, you can get beaten. So if you're scoring 28 in 26, and by the way, I have somebody I want to talk about at some point, maybe not anytime soon, Grealish, because I've been watching Grealish for a while now. He is the most commercialized player in the UK. He got, 12 million for some good company, and why is he the face of English football in some respects in terms of his compensation, in terms of what he gets from commercial deals? When have you seen Grealish stats? They're beyond awful.
Yeah, I know.
Except how much time he gets kicks down and dribble. I mean, can people realize by now that there's no productivity at the end of the play? Where do people rate it? He's getting rated every form I listen to.
He's English.
He's genius if he's the next coming off Ronaldo or Pele or whatever it is. And his stats are awful.
Bertram, to be honest, if you wore hairbands, you'd understand. But that's probably the reason. Probably the floor.
That's why Southgate doesn't play him. Look at Foden, who play half the game. He plays not better stats than he does.
Yeah,
forget about Saka. Forget about anybody. Madison. All those players' stats are better than Grealish's stats. So anyway, I know we're not here to talk about Grealish. We talk about Arsenal, but I'm just confused when I look at that situation.
So there's a couple of things I want to look at before we get going, guys. The first thing is I did leave a poll for our viewers about the international fall. We talked about it and said, which Arsenal player is the most important to their international team. You guys voted Thomas Partey. Funny, Saka only came second with 21% of the votes. And everybody's saying Partey is the most important player to his international team.
I think it's
Ghana doesn't think so. Ghana has been giving him a hard time that he doesn't play as well for Ghana as he does for Arsenal.
Well, he's definitely scores more. He's got 11 goals for them. Actually, he's got 12 now.
I'm telling you, if you read his news, they haven't been pleased with his play. Well, let me rephrase that. They haven't been pleased with his contribution for the country versus for his team, actually.
So do you guys agree with that?
I can understand it. I can understand it. I mean, just to put some meat on that bone. So Ghana played. Who did they play? So they played a game on Friday night or Friday.
They drew 1-1. Yeah,
they drew 1-1. I watched most of the game. They're not that good, and you know how we watch Thomas Partey stand out for Arsenal. He stands out so much further for Ghana, so much further. But I don't know where this he doesn't do enough. The issue is the rest of the players around him aren't good enough. They're not at his level. So imagine putting Thomas Partey in Wrexham and saying, "Go on, Thomas, drive them to the Premier League title." You ain't gonna get it.
Yeah,
it'd be like Mickey Thomas, Tony. It'd be like back in the day.
No, eventually it would be like Ozil joining Arsenal. You like that one, Bertram?
Yeah. Bertram's favorite player.
Oh God! I just got a message from Naomi. He said, "Sending love to everybody, man."
Nice one.
So is it Saka then? Should Saka be the most important? But I mean, what would England do if they didn't have him?
So he would have put players.
Is he really though? Is it him or Kane? Which one is the most important?
Well, Kane, the ball he delivered to Kane was amazing today.
Are we forgetting Rashford, bro?
Well, no, Rashford hasn't played in a year. Rashford barely plays. He started one goal in the World Cup for England. Since last June, Rashford hasn't played much for England.
Yeah, but he's still a major part of that team.
Not in the last year and a half. He hasn't been. Remember, Rashford scored a goal last year, 5. Rashford was poor last year. Sterling was more important than Rashford. Sterling was more important than Rashford.
Kane's is only good as his supply chain.
Yeah, but let's say he's center forward, right? He's England's leading goal scorer ever, and he still has a ton of games to play. He scores last game, he scores this game, he scores a ton. And if we say goals are the most important stat you can put on a player, he has to be the most important player.
I think
so, guys, we were just talking about Haaland, and this is the top 10 most goals scored in a season. And at the moment, Haaland's not even in the top 10. But you can see 2 Arsenal players there, Van Persie and Henry. The biggest thing to say about this list was Henry actually broke the Premier League record for assists with 20. When you look at that...
So here's a question for you, Paulo. Do we think all of them score 6 goals in the next 10 games? No, not 10, 11 games, because they played one game less than
they've got a game more, haven't they?
Yeah,
they have some teams to play where he's going to feast on. So.
As I was saying, Henry had 20 assists to go with that, so he was involved in 50 goals that season. And I think when you look at that perspective, I know Haaland doesn't get a lot of assists. He doesn't link play very well. But, yeah, I think, he'll definitely score 6 goals within the next 10 games. But he did go through a drought at some point. We know he only had, 2 goals in 7 games at one point. But he's going crazy right now. He's going mental right now.
So what's the biggest difference between these stats for all these players and what Haaland is doing? What's the biggest difference?
The assist.
No. The biggest difference is this is Haaland's first year in the Premier League.
Second year is always harder than the first.
Huh?
The second year, when people have worked him out, will be the true test of what he's got. Because the first year,
they didn't work out Henry, they didn't work out Kane, they didn't work out Shearer, they didn't work out.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That shows you that he's a proper player. Because if he does it consistently, like Harry Kane, like Henry, like all the others that you mentioned, they do it season after season after season. This being his first season, you can't judge him till next year.
I think
I actually have an opposite view. I believe when he went to Germany, he dominated When he was in the Champions League, he dominated. He even played for Dortmund side that wasn't playing as well as others. He's now in the Premier League and he's dominating. And this is his first season. Henry was challenged in his first season. Most of these players were challenged in their first season. Salah came and left and came back. And he's only, what, 22, 23?
Yeah, but do you think that City are a better team before him or with him? Because I think there was a better team before him.
Yeah,
I
so
don't
do I.
think you can judge that, actually. You have to wait until the season is finished.
No, I disagree. I think you can judge it right now.
How do you do better in terms of what?
With the eye test.
I just think City was a more all-round better team when they had Jesus and Zinchenko and Aguero and all these other players and Sterling.
They were more like how Arsenal play now.
So are we saying
Are
that
you making more of a case for him then if you're saying they were a better team because they lost 3 very good players and they have lesser players with people like Grealish coming, what's the kid name? Phillips coming who haven't really produced and he's doing this. So is that sort of justifying the argument more for him being more of a contributor?
I'm not sure because my answer to that would be managers are trying to get to a more balanced team rather than a more dependent team. So if you look at Liverpool and Man City, both of them had front threes and goals and creativity in all of those players. And they've now moved to a more conventional type of one man up top striker who was solemnly dependent on goals. Whereas Arsenal have actually gone the other way. Arsenal are producing in the same way that Man City produced last season and that Salah, Firmino and Mane have produced. Now, if you're a manager, which one would you prefer? And that's probably a difference of opinion between people. But if you get an injury to Haaland, where does that leave them?
Exactly.
Vinci want to go. I'll come back to that. Vinci wants to go.
on Haaland?
Apollo, could you just pop up that? Stat that you had up there? Because I mean, I understand what Bertrand's saying, and I'm quite impressed with what Haaland is doing this season. However, if you think about some of the strikers City have had before in the past, it's quite interesting that Aguero wasn't up there, but the way how the style of play that City are playing and Haaland potentially can get up there, that's huge for Man City in their way. But for me, I was surprised that Van Nistelrooy wasn't up here because the way I see Haaland playing for City this year is the way how Van Nistelrooy was playing for United when he got his most goals for them because he's that pivotal striker. So you're right in what you're saying in the way how the possession in the midfield City have gone towards. They're very dominant in that midfield in the way how they're using the play, and they've just got Haaland up top. But it's interesting that City don't have a striker on this list, and Van Nistelrooy isn't on because as a striker, he was scoring for loads of goals for United. So that's
there are a bunch of players. Drogba, what's the name that plays for Liverpool but played for Chelsea? I forgot his name from Spain. There are a bunch of forwards who were hitting the ball on the cover and I haven't made a list. Right?
Torres.
Yeah, Torres. There's some players who are exceptional who haven't made this list. So it's an exceptional list.
It's interesting. Yeah.
It says a lot about Shearer doing it 3 years over the people we have here.
Is that to say that Man City are too dependent on Haaland?
I think so.
Yeah, of course.
No, it's to say that Foden is injured and Grealish can't score a goal. That's what it's basically telling me.
I think
which means they're too
Foden
dependent on Haaland.
Injured. Huh?
Which means they're too dependent on Haaland. I mean, Liverpool's not necessarily in the same situation because Darwin Núñez is missing a lot of chances. When that guy gets his stuff together, man,
he's going to be mustard, isn't he?
Problem. And this is what Salah's probably worst season in terms of efficiency. I've looked at his efficiency over the last 4 or 5 seasons, and he's missing a lot of chances, man. So if those two guys start clicking, Liverpool's going to be a problem next year.
I mean, if you look at the stats and like what City have scored, was it 66 goals? Is it something like that? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And Haaland's got 30 odd of them. or however many in the Premier League, 28 in the 27 in the Premier League, 28 in the Premier League. If you take them goals away, say he broke his leg in the first game, where would City be? Arsenal have got 4 players that
They would
have
still
all
be good
contributed
because
like
somebody would
almost
play
30
there.
goals.
Because the World Cup winner would be up there. They'll still be good.
No,
Foden has
they'll
9
still be good, but
Foden
I'm
has
talking about
9
the
in
goals scored.
24. Yeah, Foden has 9 in 24. And he hasn't started all those games. He's been injured quite a bit, which tells you that Grealish is not producing on the other side. That's part of their problem.
I think Bertram, the question has a lot in terms of domestic football and the top level Champions League. So it's okay to be going away to playing central backs and in various different parts of the country in the league, and then you're going away and you got to play, Bayern Munich or PSG, or you've got to play Real Madrid in the Champions League, and you're up against a top tier centre back. And I think Saliba for Arsenal, among many, and there's quite a few good ones in the Premier League, they are the ones that are really going to measure how good Haaland is. And in the first game that they played, I thought he played him really well. I thought they kept him quite quiet. I know the goal Haaland scored was a rebound, but I'm talking about marking him out of the game and keeping City quiet that way. And at times we were forcing them to go into a plan B. Even the FA Cup game, which I didn't see, by the way, I was watching you guys' commentary, Gary, Tony, and you were talking about the fact that he weren't even in the game. And,
in that game, didn't he switch on to Gabriel because he got no change out of Saliba?
Yeah,
I'm sure he went across to play on Gabriel in that game, and he got a little bit of change out of Gabriel.
Yeah,
so do you know that Foden per minute stats, goal contribution is better than Saka's?
Yeah, unfortunately,
let me
someone's
repeat
just said
that because let me repeat that because it's important. So we talk about just all of them. Yeah, Tony, squint your face up, Tony, and say, what are we talking about? Do the calculation. He has 9 and 4, 13 in 1,400 minutes. Saka has 22 in 2,400 minutes.
So
per
Bertram,
minute stats, goal contribution is better than Saka's. It's not debatable.
But it is debatable because he's played less games. So if you play more games,
because he's injured,
he played 24 games per minute stats. I'm talking about game per minute stats. Per
Yeah,
minute on the
but-
pitch
yeah,
stats.
but-
That's what we're talking about.
Okay, but I think this comparison slightly. Saka doesn't play up front. He plays on the wing.
Foden
So-
plays on the wing. Foden plays on the wing.
yeah, but if you play less minutes and contribute in a certain way, your stats are obviously going to be better. Look at Nketiah. Perfect example.
Look at
Yeah,
Smith Rowe
sorry.
last year, 10 goals before the first half of the season. Before
You know what,
Christmas.
you know what, guys? Let's go to what we're talking about because you guys can cut this and slice it any way you want to. The facts are the facts, and they're not disputable. You can
They
say,
are disputable. Of course they're disputable.
Gary, the more you play, Gary, the more you're in the game, Gary, the more you're likely to score, Gary. When you
Yeah,
come on a sub,
no. The more you play, right, when you're an all-round team, when you've got another 3 or 4 players that are all producing assists and goals, you're not going to have the same stats as someone who is only 1 or 2 players that are producing assists and goals.
Gary.
Stands to reason, no?
Go check Jesus'
You don't
stats
get that?
when he starts. Go check Jesus' stats when he played for City. When he starts and doesn't start. Look at Jesus' stats when he starts and doesn't start. You'll be amazed at the differential. Amazed at the differential. Not disputable. Anyway,
So,
I'm telling you, these things are not refutable. It's the fact.
Okay,
So guys,
Bertram, what you
the reason why we're here tonight is to talk about the last 10 games. I have drawn my graph up. I'm not going to play it on show it on the screen. I'm just going to go game by game, and then I'm going to fill out the Excel sheet while we're actually doing it to give us a little bit more space and time, because I can't see your faces, and I love to see your reactions when you're talking about the games and everything. So the purpose of this, obviously, is we were always talking about we were going to do something for the last 10 games and see where we are. Vincey's always talked about it, and Tony. But for me, guys, a lot is riding on this now with the current state of where things are, 8 points clear ahead of City. City have a game in hand. And there's going to be some interesting matchups. So we're going to talk about that today. the first being Leeds. So this is a home game. Arsenal looking really good at home. I know that they had a big win at Crystal Palace, but Arsenal did struggle against Leeds in the way that they played. We actually dropped points there. It's one of the few teams in the league this season that we dropped points to. After going a goal behind, it was Jesus that came up and to I think he scored off the bench. Jesus was came off the bench in that game to claim a point for Arsenal. So this is the first one here. I'm going for a win because I can't see this team losing at home. The Arsenal are just so good at home. They've had 3 games where they've scored in injury time to claim 3 points, which is more than any other team in the league. They just don't know whether to. They just don't know whether to die, to give up. They just won't. I remember in the wise words of Tony Cox when we needed a goal, and it was like 93rd, 94th minute. Tony kept saying, "It's coming, it's coming. They're gonna score. They're gonna score." I was like, "Dude, are you crazy?" And it's such a magical place right now. So I'm gonna go for a win there against Leeds at home. Where are you guys at with this, Tony? Oh, Vincey.
4-2 home win.
Home win, yep. What about you, Ebony?
I'm going to go for a 2-0 win. Home.
Excellent. And Tom is saying a win there. What about you, Bertram?
I'm going to go for a win, but I think Leeds was our worst game of the season so far. We actually should have lost that game. And frankly, whether we play at home or away doesn't really matter. The difference between home and away is a loss versus a draw. We have 11 wins at home, same we have away. We have 2 draw at home, 2 and 1 loss. We have 1 draw away and 2 loss. So the home or away doesn't make a difference. We probably are better on the road in terms of not giving up goals. Seem to leak goals at home. But I would expect us to win. So I expect, that game was a tough one. That's when Gabriel hands the ball. We didn't get a penalty against us. And when he fell and there was a lot of commotion in the box, it was a tough game. But I do think we're in a better place than we were then. And Leeds is in a decent place now. But Adams, I think, is injured. So we better in the midfield. So we should win.
Bertrand, they don't travel very well, do they?
Didn't they do well against Chelsea the last time they played them away?
That's Chelsea, isn't it?
Yeah.
Chelsea are not in a good place.
But I'm just saying it's well, they're getting better. But no, I expect us to win. I would say 3-1 because we seem to find a way to get
the last game against Chelsea, they lost 1-0.
Okay.
They beat Wolves 4-2. That's the game you're thinking possibly. Away.
And what about you, Gary?
Yeah, I expect us to win.
I think Gary's on the phone.
I'm ready. I'm ready to
I'm scratching me. Yeah, no, I think I'm going to go for a 3-0 home win. I can't see us losing against Leeds at home. Can't see it in a million years. So 3-0 home win, standard.
Excellent. What about you, Tony?
Yeah, I'm going to join Gary. I'm very confident of the team. I think the way we're playing currently, so long as nobody comes back carrying knocks or injuries, I think the fact that Gabriel Jesus has now had 2 weeks to get himself back into match fitness and hopefully will be a huge contributor in this game. I don't expect him to start, but I do expect him to contribute. I do expect a 3-0 win.
We have a problem at right back, though, which is going to be interesting. No problem at right back. Not good.
We'll be fine.
Right.
Someone wanted to go to right back. If Ben White gets injured, who takes over at right back?
So is Ben White injured?
I think he's picked up a little. I think he's picked up a little injury, hasn't he?
He'll be all right. He'll be fine.
But if he's injured and out, who plays right back? Because Saliba is also not fully fit. Tierney
goes to right back.
He'll have to be.
Well, he's right-footed like Saka, so maybe that will work.
Saka can go right. Saka can go right back and play the.
Well, funny you should say that because where did Zinchenko play today? Predominantly on the right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
predominantly
I think
on the right.
I think they're more
in Milichenko, and they had Zinchenko playing at right midfield effectively.
Yeah, I think they've got more chance of moving Zinchenko to right back or Thomas Partey to right back than they would Tierney.
Moving Partey just means.
Yeah, I know what it means. I'm sure Mikel knows. I don't know why he was dipping his toe into the water with Partey at right back.
Yeah,
maybe because, but
game
you know,
was done.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that made no sense.
made
That's
no
the one guy
sense.
we don't want to pick up no hamstring
guys,
injury.
I think he's trying something. He's anticipating.
He is trying something.
What if Ben White gets injured? What do I do? He doesn't have. He doesn't have a recourse.
Yeah, and we know why he did it, and hopefully he didn't get the answers he was looking for. But if it comes down to it, I would say Zinchenko would be the first choice. Guys, Liverpool away. Oh man! After what they did to this guy, look, 7-0 against Man United, and then they go and lose to Bertram's favorite team,
Bournemouth.
Rubbish Bournemouth.
I don't understand. You know, in the words of Bertram, they should never be losing to Bournemouth anyway because they're the worst team in the league.
So how do you rationalize beating Man U 7? Now, let's think about it. Man U is a decent team. Man U just beat Barcelona not too long before that, and Barca is running with La Liga. So that gives you a view on these leagues, by the way. But beating them 7, and Barca beats Real Madrid. So it's a very interesting season, the way football is being played, isn't it? Barca
It depends on the day, doesn't it?
So Liverpool's last 6 games, 3 losses, 2 wins, and a draw.
Who they lost?
Okay,
they lost
Tony, you've
twice to Real
twisted
Madrid,
my
right?
arm.
Twice to Real Madrid, though.
2 times to Real Madrid, once to Bournemouth. 3 losses, 2 wins, and a draw. Draw against Crystal Palace, 0-0.
Tony, you're
but we haven't beaten them at their places forever, haven't we?
Yeah,
when last have we beaten Liverpool away?
Good time to do it, isn't it? Listen, I think it's difficult because they've been so strong at home. You know, if they've been able to do something, one thing this season is maintain a decent home record in the Premier League. Obviously, they got clattered by Real Madrid, but you know, look, this is Arsenal. The way we are playing right now, and bearing in mind we get a full week at it,
especially away from home.
It depends on which Liverpool team turn up.
It does, but you're talking about the best team in the league away from home. Not even City are as good as Arsenal away from home. It's a tough one. I mean, Liverpool have got injuries. They've got Jordan Henderson, Thiago's injured.
Henderson played today. He's not injured.
Gomez.
He played today. He's not injured.
Yeah,
who's that?
Today. Henderson
played today.
Oh, yeah, because the injury for him was only listed as illness, so I guess it didn't really stick. But they've got a bunch of injuries. I think for Arsenal as well as who do you get back for that game? It's not that game's. What's the date for that game? It's quite a way off. It's what is it? 2 or 3 weeks?
Well, Liverpool is playing City, so we'll get an idea as to how they play. They're playing City the week before us, aren't they?
Okay, just so you know, Liverpool have to play on the 4th, a game in hand, away to Chelsea. Think about it.
Oh, yeah, I'm going Arsenal.
Fatigue.
I'm going Arsenal. Vincent.
Yeah. So they play Man City away, they play Chelsea away in the same week that they play Arsenal at home.
Yeah, Arsenal's going to win that. Vincey?
Yep.
Great reaction.
Hold on. That's what Bertram Spence says. Only Bertram's allowed to say.
Listen, man. It's Anfield, man. And every time we play Liverpool, we've had decent opportunities to give them licks, and at Anfield, and we've come away and it hasn't happened. Now, right now, we should be battering them because we've got a stable team, stable setup. But it's Anfield, man. I just don't. I'm going for a draw. I just don't like. Another run of games: City, Chelsea, Arsenal, and 18 saying my two brothers are Liverpool fans, and listen, man, I know what it's like. I've sat in that stadium many a times as an Arsenal fan, and I had to kiver my mouth whilst nonsense was going on the pitch and watching my team lose. So, listen, I just want Arsenal just to do the business. We win, I'm happy. I'll take a draw.
Yes, you're going to take a draw. Ooh, that's going to... And as Bertram said, it depends what happens in the City game before that. Gary?
I'm kind of in the same camp as Vincey, to be honest. I mean, I can agree with what he says, because when we go away to our so-called rivals at their ground, we always seem to have all of the early play, all of the early chances, never take one. They go down the other end, 1-0 down, 2-0 down, 3-0 down. And at some point this season, that kind of changed. We didn't just collapse and fall away like we normally do. You know, so I think that it's either going to be 2-1 or 2-2. So I'm not sure which, but I'll probably end up with it. It's either 2-1 to us or a 2-2 draw. If we score first, we win. But I'm going for a draw.
And we've scored in every game, haven't we?
Pardon?
We've scored in every away game, haven't we?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, that's why
we have 8 clean sheets. We have 8 clean sheets away from home, which is ridiculous.
That's why I think it'll be a draw. I think it'll be a draw at least.
So Gary, is that a draw?
Yeah, I'm going for a draw, yeah.
Okay, Ebony.
Right, okay. So Liverpool play how many games in 1 week? Is that 3? 3 games. So at some point they're going to be fatigued, right? So taking into consideration, and obviously they need some rest in between, which they won't get much of. So I'm gonna look. You know, I'm heavily optimistic, and I'm gonna go for a 1-0 win.
I think that will do it. Yeah, that will do it. Tony?
Yeah, I'm confident. You know, for the very reason I said it, you have to realize Liverpool aren't playing Bournemouth. They're not playing Everton. They're not playing Swansea, Sunderland. They're playing Chelsea at Chelsea. There's gonna be a price to pay for playing back-to-back games against Man City and Chelsea, and I'm pretty certain we profit as a result.
Yeah, we better, because you twisted my arm for me to put 3 points on this one.
Can I just quickly give you Liverpool's home form? They've played 13, they've won 3, drawn 3, and they've lost 7 at Anfield this season.
Oh, so
Is that
I like how you threw that. I like how you threw that right before Bertram's go.
Hold on, no, sorry. I stand corrected.
I don't believe that home form. That doesn't make sense to me.
I stand corrected, sorry. I stand corrected. My son's giving me the wrong thing. They've won 9, drawn 3, lost 1.
Okay. Now that's
Sorry.
much better.
My bad.
Much better.
My son gave me the wrong stat. I've now sacked him.
Thanks for the correction. That's because I'm sitting here thinking, what? They just beat Man United 7 without one. So anyway, the game is depending on Saliba's health determine that game. I'm gonna repeat that. Okay, if it's Rob Holding playing against the right with Nunez running at him, that's not happening. Okay, it's not happening. It's gonna be like when he played against Son and he choked him and got himself sent off. Doesn't work. So the way we play aggressive and the way we play with just 2 defenders most time against the Liverpool team, how they play counter-attacking football, and this,
it's scary.
We need some thoroughbreds in the back cleaning up. So I'm gonna say 2-2. I'm gonna say 2-2, but I'm concerned about the Saliba situation because we can't play. I am concerned because Arteta hasn't adapted to his team. He wants to play the same way. That's the same athleticism to play the same way because Holding cannot hang up with Nunez. Not happening. And by the way, if Nunez learn to put the ball in the goal, because he gets chances now. No matter who he plays, it's a different story. The day he gets that right, it's a whole different story. Because he's a beast. 6'4", 220, 230, running like a train, can beat a man, can score. I do think it's going to be an interesting game. and Thiago comes back, because he was one of the better players when they played against us at home, they're in a much better situation. They have their whole defense back, which I've been saying much, because Van Dijk is not the same. Canadi plays decent. Robertson's been playing well. Trent Kane defense, so that's a good thing. If Martinelli can take advantage of him. So I'm going to say 2-2. With all of that, I'm going to say 2-2.
So, guys, that leaves me on to West Ham. Now,
Vinci had his finger
Vinci
up.
want to say something.
Apollo.
Vinci want to say something.
Oh,
Vinci
I
wanted
was
to
going.
say-
I was just going to ask in regards to the league position. Where are Liverpool in the league right now?
Aren't they 6 or 7?
behind
They're
Spurs,
somewhere up
5th, right?
No.
Yeah, they're
They're
fifth.
behind Spurs.
I'm sure they're fifth.
behind Spurs.
So they need points.
Fifth or sixth.
They're sixth.
They're
They're
6.
six.
They're 6. They're
Behind
Oh, they've-
Newcastle.
Oh, they've
Right,
dropped.
so
Oh,
they-
wow.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
so they need
So
to, and that game in hand, as you
Points
said,
behind
is against
Newcastle,
Chelsea.
And they're way behind Newcastle. They're 5 points behind Newcastle.
Yeah, so I got good. Yeah,
And
to draw.
they have us and City to go, which is not good.
Yeah,
And Chelsea.
Yeah. Well, you didn't rate
Wow.
Chelsea. So
No, I
So,
don't.
guys,
I don't.
I think it's nice for us to praise our opponents and give them the kudos and respect that they deserve. But I think this Arsenal team, that's a problem for anybody. I mean, the thing is, they've got even more dangerous now with Trossard. People can say what you want about Jorginho, decent player, the backup we needed. But what Trossard is doing is ridiculous. What he's doing,
there's no rest. There's no rest, man.
he's actually
There's no rest.
improved us. Where I didn't think in January that we were going to be improved in any way. I thought we were just going to try and fill up the squad and try and give people a rest. We're now talking about a situation where they're struggling to start with Martinelli. The only reason why Martinelli's starting is because he's scoring. The times when he stopped scoring, Trossard is going to go in there on that left-hand side. If
Can
you're
I
talking
ask?
about... Sorry,
So I was going to ask, what's the timetable for Saliba to come back?
Unknown.
the,
I reckon
last-
he's going to be
last
back
week they
on
said-
Saturday. It's not. I don't think it's that bad
Yeah.
an injury, but it hasn't been confirmed.
I think he'll be
Yeah,
back
and
for
remember,
Liverpool.
it was a
I think
precaution.
they'll rest him for Leeds and come back for Liverpool.
Possibly, yeah. Yeah, possibly, yeah. Because you can get away with that with Rob Holding. This is the same place we were last year. Last year, we were in this position, 10 games to go, and we had to go away to Leeds. We had to go away to West Ham. We had to play Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. Remember that, guys? And remember we said, and we had Man United, and we were all like, oh, not a chance. What did we do? We went away to West Ham, we won. Who was man of the match in that game? Rob Holding.
Yep. Yep.
We went away to Chelsea. Who was man of the match in that game? Edin Nketiah. I think this is one of those games.
I like how you cherry pick your stats. You don't mention the Southamptons of the world. Let's go to those 10 games. I like how you cherry pick the stats.
Oh,
In
Southampton's
last 10
coming, bro.
games, I like how you cherry pick them. You
Yeah,
go back to those
Southampton's
10
coming,
games.
bro.
No. Those 3 you talked about. What happened to the next 7? Newcastle's, Southampton's. What happened to those games?
No, it's
We
not
choked
what
against
happened to those.
Southampton.
It's not what happened to those games. It's what happened to us. We were We
Yeah,
tapped out.
But Apollo, you can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways, Apollo.
No, well, we can't tap out now because our squad's better. We have a way better squad than we did
Okay.
at the back end of last year. Those problems that we existed ain't here. Unless something really, really bad happens. Okay, if we lose Thomas Partey, you never had a Jorginho to put in there. And while he's not the same player, he's a better alternative than. And this is the thing: who out there is better than Thomas Partey right now? That's
No one.
where we're at.
Here's my point. Last year we needed what?
Saka.
3 points from the last 3 games, right? We went to Tottenham and lost. Went to Newcastle and lost. I think we drew 1 or something like that. Right now, it's an older team. It's a better team. Don't disagree with all of that. But at the same time, we have a tough run-in. Newcastle, Brighton, City, and Liverpool. We're tough running.
Yeah, we have the squad depth. And Bertrand, we're playing once a week.
The only good thing, Apollo, is this. If you look at City and our running, it's almost identical, actually.
Yeah, there's not a lot of difference. You're right.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. Especially when you consider the same teams in there as well. Brighton, Wolves. Chelsea, Southampton, West Ham, Liverpool. It's almost back
It's
to
very
back.
similar.
But the difference is us. We've made changes, we've improved, and we're so confident. I'm gonna go for a win against West Ham. I can't believe I've gone for 3 wins in a row here. I'm going for a win. Vincey,
3-1.
win for
Away
Vincey.
win.
Gary,
Yeah, 100% win. We'll beat West Spam quite easily, I think. I'm going to go 4-0.
Ebony,
Away win, and it'll be 3-0.
Tony,
West Ham, we win that game. We win that game 3-1.
and Bertram.
Same as Tony. Can't believe I'm saying that.
And this is where things
My
get crazy,
brother.
guys.
Stan.
This is where things get crazy. Now, I don't know what it is about Southampton, but it's more Southampton away than it is Southampton home. But look, every home game I'm going with the home team because I don't know how many of you guys have got to get to the stadium this season, but it's just a different energy inside there. They won't quit. This team will die on their tombstone at home. And they will just fight to the death, and I just don't see anyone turning them over. That being said, this team held Arteta's team to a 1-1 draw, and I remember when Saka scored, and we thought, "Here we go. How many goals can we get in this one?" And yeah, it just didn't work out for us. Walcott played well in that game, by the way. Yeah, so look, it's not at St. Mary's; it's at the Emirates. It's an easy one for me to chalk down. Vincey?
I'm just checking who we're playing afterwards because
We're playing Man City afterwards. Man
right.
City.
So I think it's going to be a 2-2 draw. It's not about.
Did you know Google makes
Southampton always turn up, and we may. I think we're gonna have a little blip before we play City, and I don't want to go into my thoughts on the City result, but I think this one's going to be one where we redeem ourselves against City. But 2-2, I want to go 2-2. It's going to be a draw.
Okay. Gary, someone's got the telly on there. Can you turn it down so we can hear what's going on?
I'm going for home win 2-0.
Ebony.
I know Southampton have got this new manager, and he's got them doing some decent stuff, and they're solid. But I think we'll be too much for them at home, so I'm going 2-0 home win. So,
Yeah. Ebony.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. I know Southampton tend to turn up when they play us, especially at the Emirates. And I know that they're in a relegation battle right now, so they're going to want to turn up, and it's always against us. So, but in saying that, I'm going to go for a 2-0 win.
Excellent. Tony.
4-0 Arsenal. No, 4-1 Arsenal.
Right, that's a drubbing there, man. Tony's got that Emirates energy inside of his blood. Bertram.
Let's.
I'm gonna give Theo a go because I like how he played against Spurs. I'm gonna say 3-1. I'm gonna say 4-1 Arsenal. Actually,
What?
I'm gonna go with
Twice?
Tony
What?
again. I'm gonna go Tony. I'm just gonna piggyback off Tony.
what's going on here? We're in a parallel universe. We're in a parallel universe. Is this Arsenal 101 from some other planet?
You know,
I watched them beat Spurs, but Spurs should have scored more goals. Actually, I think. And even
Hey,
if
in a
they
minute,
went
is
against
Bertram going to pull off one of them plastic faces and reveal the Tony Cox face underneath? What's going on?
Oh, dear.
After I see us demolish Crystal Palace at home, and they could have gotten more, even though they could have scored a goal or two. I'm gonna say 4-1 Arsenal.
My
And that's
God,
the last time I'm
it's,
agreeing with Tony.
right, so
Even
we've
if I
got
agree with him, I'm gonna change it.
that is nuts. That is absolutely nuts. So guys, before I go on to the Man City game, African Goodness just sent me his points, so I'm going to have to fill them in at the moment. But City is the next game, and I'm not sure about this one. By the way, I'm not sure about this one. So City look unbeatable right now. But I think in the previous game before, this is what makes me laugh about Arsenal. When we lost to them last season, we outplayed them on both accounts. We literally outplayed them. We played them off the park. We actually beat ourselves when we played Man City. And in the game that we lost 3-1, I think the score was flattering in Man City's terms. It wasn't a 3-1 game. I think we can all agree. But I was surprised how it wasn't closer. I was surprised at how we dominated them when we played them last year, and even in the FA Cup game, which I missed, and Tony and Gary covered.
Yeah, right.
I was surprised that we didn't have that kind of game. So I think we will. I'm going for a draw in this one, guys, and I think a draw actually wins us the title. Same again, please, Vincey.
3-1, Arsenal. They're going to get legs. 3-1. Listen, that first game, City got away with murder. Yeah. Last season, again, I keep on saying this team, this season, they can't write everyone.
I'm sorry, Vincey. I'm trying to figure out my hairpiece because I heard you say something and something's wrong with my
Don't
hairpiece.
Don't worry. 3-1. Go at yourself. 3-1. You hear me? 3 goals for Arsenal and 1 for City. All right.
Oh my God.
Season's over. 3-1. That's the game. Arsenal. Listen, Arsenal can mash up this season by dealing with that result. Yeah. Stop the foolishness. Get the job done. Mash it up.
There's a big tick on the screen.
Remember what I said to you, Tony? Liverpool didn't win the title last year because they couldn't beat City. It ended up 1-1. And that after that result, I said to Neil, I said to Vincey's brother David, I said, you guys, in order to beat the champions, you've got to take them down. You didn't take them down, you ain't going to get it done. And they didn't get it done, ended up losing it by a point. Arsenal have to win this game, guys. No, it's not even a win. A draw would be good enough. But by winning, you've taken the crown away from the champions.
And you earned the team. 3-1.
Yeah, it's a statement game. You know what this reminds me of?
Right.
When Arsenal was in the Champions League semi-final against Real Madrid. It's that kind of game. Yeah? We need a World Tour thing in this. Yeah? Up to Old Trafford, Arsenal won, Man United 0, Will Tour winning the title. This is the type of game that we need.
Mm-hmm.
Why, you lot are big me up to rotted, man.
I'm limping to that title, man. This year, Naspa. We're going to snatch that sitting here. And
Gary, look at Gary. London, Gary's man. Loving the energy. Gary, where you going with
in London?
Do you know what? I just can't see us winning. I think it's going to be one of them games, like I said before, where we're going to have all the early run in. We're going to outplay them. We're not going to take our chance. We just don't seem to take our chance. And I want to see us go there. And I want to see us bang in 2 early goals from our chances that we create and shut them out at the other end. You know, but I just can't see it. And I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be 3-0 City. I think it's going to be a loss. I really do.
Wow.
I'm sorry to say it. I just can't see us. It's a hoodoo, and I just can't see us breaking it in this game.
That could be the difference between the title. I mean, it could be. I'm not saying it will be, because even if they beat us and we win all of our other games, it's in Arsenal's hands. It's in Arsenal's hands. But this is the game, as Vincey said. This is the game that will break Man City. You go there and beat them. It's a TKO. It's a technical knockout. If you
let them focus on the Champions League. Let them focus on the Champions League with games to go. Match it up.
Is the game sandwiched in? But it's not sandwiched in between the Bayern games, is it?
They got bare games, bruv. They got Brighton in the middle of the week. Yeah, they got Sheffield United in the FA Cup the weekend before. They got Bayern, they got Leicester, they got Bayern, they got Southampton, they got Liverpool. They got big games. That's just our
I
first.
know. Let me just say
game.
this. I know when they played Burnley, they made 7 changes and they gave Burnley 6. Just saying.
Where do you want to win the league, man? Have you won the league at Edinburgh?
Burnley
Hey,
6.
Tony.
After giving Leipzig 7 the week before. Just saying. Just throwing that out.
Tony, so 18 said that means Pep will rest Kevin De Bruyne. I can't believe they played Tottenham twice and the man didn't start either. I mean, what is going on there? Can Pep do that against us, please? Can he do that? And again, remember, guys, we gifted them the goal that Kevin De Bruyne scored when Tomiyasu made the mistake.
That's what I'm saying, guys.
The scoreline, I'm telling you guys, the scoreline was flat.
But that's what I'm saying. We have them in our pocket all the time, and they always seem to get away with it. And I'm sick and tired of it. I want to see us go there and win, but I just can't see it. Just can't see it.
Guys, we may have dominated possession. We didn't dominate the game.
Yeah, but that's the game.
We scored a penalty. One penalty.
I can't believe you, Gary.
They could have scored when Zinchenko made a mistake late in our
I'm sorry, Ebs. I'm sorry.
I guess based on my time to explain my rationale for my outcome.
Okay, Ebony.
Look, we've learned our lesson from last year, haven't we? Haven't we?
Yes.
To a degree.
Okay. So, and also, is Haaland injured?
He'll play, even if
He'll
he's
play.
Okay, all right, fine.
He'll play.
So the last time that we played Man City, I'm sure it was Saliba that kept Haaland in his pocket.
Exactly.
Okay?
Yes. Yes.
So therefore, considering that Saliba, and hopefully Saliba will make this game, if that is the case, and Saliba keeps Haaland in his pocket, because Haaland isn't the type of player that will. Haaland is basically a poacher. Therefore, I'm going to go for a 2-1 Arsenal away win.
Oh,
Wow! Look at that fixture list before they play Arsenal. That's ridiculous.
Weary.
Yeah, look at the list. They'll be fatigued.
They're gonna, and Arsenal's going to bring that energy as well. I don't think they'll be able to. Yeah, I think
they get a list, man. I want to take it to that game.
So Ebony,
trust me, we're winning that. We're winning. It's a 2-1 win. Okay, they'll be fatigued. We've only got one game every week now, up until the end. So therefore, as long as you keep Haaland quiet, as long as Saliba is playing, which I'm hoping that he will play, we'll be all right. We'll be fine.
So Tony, what's that? Is that 9 games in 2020? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 20, 22. So that's 8 games in about 22, 23 days. That's a lot of football.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a lot of football. And if you think if you think you're going to Brighton,
I think they've got to change something there, because that's not right. I'll take this list, but they got 2 games on consecutive days, so that's physically impossible.
Yeah, the Sheffield United game, but I can see Haaland being rested for that game, and coming back for Brighton. But
so Brighton is going to get moved. The Brighton game's going to get moved, but still.
They'll play their U team against Sheffield, so they should be okay.
Let's see what our owner has to say. What's the owner? What's the owner got to say?
Come on, Stan. What's your prediction?
So hold on, Tony. You've gone for win, Tony,
okay.
Yeah?
I'm waiting for Stan.
Oh, okay. I got to say, I'm going to say 2-1 City. When I look at the team, we don't match up well with City. And everybody got a plan until they get a right hand, and then the plan goes out the door, as Tommy also found out when he was under pressure and caved. If you look at City's team, their best team, Ake shuts down Saka. He's been the best defender this season. Walker is no slouch on the right either. when Saka played against Ake, twice he played against him, he did absolutely nothing. You say it was doubled, it wasn't about him being doubled, because Ake has been a phenomenal defender this season. Somebody we know went from Bournemouth to Chelsea to Bournemouth. He's been phenomenal playing on the left. That's why they can get rid of Cancelo. They didn't need him. And Walker's coming back into form. So on both wings, they can play us one-on-one. Look in their midfield. The Dungdung, whatever his name is, De Bruyne, Rodrigue. I mean, they have a phenomenal team if they play up to their potential. And if Foden comes in for Grealish, who can't score to save himself, they got players everywhere. That's just the starting 11. They play their best 11. So they match up well with us. So we can't go, and they're at home. They just give Leipzig 7, could have given them 10. They pulled Haaland out the game, not to run to double figures against a team which is 50 in the Bundesliga.
So
50 in the Bundesliga with quality players.
Bertram, that's an amazing piece of accolades for Manchester City.
You know,
Yet, even after beating Arsenal, they're still 8 points behind them with a game.
Wait, let me finish. And also, can someone remind me the last time I ever been in City, Santi Cazorla, who was unretired, went to Saudi Arabia and Middle East, came back, probably is in coaching something. Was the last time I can recall us beating City 2-1 at Man City. When they have changed and they weren't as good as they are today.
Yeah, but that
now
doesn't
we are much better, but we haven't beaten them at home apart forever.
No, but that doesn't count for anything, Bertram, because we hadn't won in Liverpool in 11 seasons.
The last Champions League game, they went and drawn with Leipzig at Leipzig and came back to their house and gave them 7.
We hadn't won Spurs in 9 years. So those are 2 games. Hadn't beaten Liverpool, hadn't beaten Spurs in nine years at their place.
No.
And
Let me
this
say this,
season
guys.
changed all of that.
No. Liverpool at home is a different Liverpool away on the road. City at home is a different from away at home. So is Newcastle. All these teams are very good teams. Unlike us, who don't care where we play, those teams are different. We don't care where we play. I showed the stats earlier. We have 11 to win away from home and 11 at home. So we don't care where we play.
And
but
that works in our favor. Yeah, I think that works in our favor.
It could be it'd be good, but I will admit, I find it hard when we City. Man-for-man matchup, they're as good as we are. Maybe even better.
Bertram, I'm noticing your analysis. You haven't factored in return of Jesus. Yeah. At City.
Bro.
Right.
Jesus and
look at the screen, bro. Look at the screen. Yeah. Look at the screen. Man for man, look at the screen.
So you have this screen on top of us showing how we can cause problems for Man City, and Man City do concede, right? So, and you haven't even made any allowances for Jesus. So by the time we play City, we're expecting a better, more potent Jesus on his return.
Who played at home when we lost on penalty kicks? Did we play somebody at home and lost on penalty kicks recently? I can't remember.
Yeah, Sporting. Great side.
Oh, we did. With our first team or second team?
Great side.
Where were these stats when we played Sporting at home? Where were the stats we played Sporting at home? We played Sporting at home in our house and lost out.
So Bertram.
So Bertram, I'm sure we had our best players like Partey and Odegaard and them guys on the bench, and when they came on, we controlled the game. I think we should have. I think we should have started with those.
Sporting should have won that game. Sorry, they should have won that game. Edwards missed easy goals.
Sporting had major chances.
Edwards missed easy goals. Yeah. The one-on-one he had with the Ramsdale should have scored. Edwards had easy goals that he missed in that game. The point I'm trying to make is we are very good. City to me, just pip us and gonna beat us 2-1.
Okay, Bertram, can I just say, you have just glorified Manchester City, yet they don't have 5 players with the goal and assist combinations that we have at our club. Sorry, they have one player who scored a bag of goals and another player who's got a bag of assists. Other than that, where are they? Where are they beating us man for man, bro?
This is what I was saying, Tony, earlier on about us being a better team than them. The stats are there to prove it.
For man, bro?
So I have a question for you, Tony. They have scored 67 goals in 26 games.
How many we scored?
66 goals in 28 games.
So how many
They've
we
scored?
Wait.
Hold on,
how many we scored? No, go on. Answer that question.
We have 1 goal less in 1 more game.
So that's a non-issue. We're with them on goals.
They have scored 40 goals, 39 goals. Other players outside of Haaland. 39 goals are a lot of goals. Almost as much as some teams have scored. Take on Haaland's stats.
Almost as much as Arsenal. Almost as much.
No. I said some teams. I said Arsenal. I said some teams.
Thank you.
They scored 39 goals outside of Haaland. A lot of goals in it, Tony. A lot of goals.
A lot of goals.
De Bruyne can score.
Friend. Yeah.
De Bruyne can score, Tony.
Has every player for Man City scored like every player for Arsenal have? You do realize every outfield player for Arsenal has scored. Every single
there's a reason why I said to Bertrand that Arsenal, with all the greatness of Man City, Arsenal's still top of the league. And Tony, you're boxing aficionado. You know there's some fighters, styles makes fight, Tony. You know styles makes fight. Styles makes fight, Tony. I do agree with
motivated for certain fights.
Have you given your prediction, Tony, by the way?
Like Sugar Ray Leonard, bro.
I want to hear your prediction. I want to hear your prediction. I want to hear your prediction.
Hear Bertrand so I could crucify him.
No, me and Gary are lying that we're not going to win this game. I want to hear your prediction. Since you're so confident, and even all the stats you gave me, we gonna maul them. Don't let me hear it.
No. Listen. I've got to give credit. They're a great team. They're not a good team. They're a great team. But right now, we on a high, bro. We on a high, and we got the master assassinator manager who's doing a madness out here. Yeah, he's doing a madness. So I'm confident in his ability. I'm going full in on this season-winning, title-winning charge, the last 10 cup finals. We go to Man City and we win, my brother. We win 2-0. Let's go, Arsenal.
You know something? I'm going to say something. One point. So, you know, Jamaica played Mexico today, right? Jamaica has never beaten Mexico at Azteca. Mexico hasn't lost in about 15 whatever years at Azteca. And if you look online, 70+% of Jamaicans think Jamaica's going to go there and win. I love fans.
Bro,
it's great.
Let me give you another one. You know what? In the history of world football, Morocco have never beaten Brazil. Guess what happened yesterday?
They beat Brazil 3-2.
Beat Brazil, bro.
Yeah.
The whole
Neymar's injured.
Yeah, listen, I think the point, Tony, that I gave to Bertrand is that we hadn't beaten Liverpool, and that we hadn't beaten Spurs in 9 years, and this season we're turning everything over. And that's a team that you cannot compare to previous Arsenal teams because we're just a different animal. We're just different. We're
going to get 24 points from the last 30 games. I have 3 draws and 1 loss, and the 1 loss is to Man City.
Okay, and that would still be good enough for us to win the league. Tony's given us a win. All right, so we move on. Before we move on to Chelsea, Cam, I don't know what Cam. Oh, it's because of my wins. All right. Yeah. I'm not as bad as Tony. I'm 4 wins and 1 draw at the moment with City. Tony and Ebony are straight. There's a royal flush. It's a clean sweep.
Pep Guardiola is scared of Arsenal. Okay, he's scared.
Good reason.
For me, it's simpler than other predictions. We must better their result against Liverpool, or at least the match if they do win. We must have 4 or more points before we play Manchester City. I think this is Tony's friend. I think this is Jigesh. Nice, I haven't spoken to you in a while, bro. Says the one crucial thing City have over Arsenal is they've been in this position before. I think, I used to believe that. But then Arsenal, the one thing they have in their favour is they have no fear. They don't care who you are. They don't care if you've beaten them like Liverpool in the last 10 years and not had a win. They don't care whether you're Spurs and you ain't gone to their ground and you ain't won there nearly a decade. They don't care. Arsenal walk into your yard. They slap you up. They don't even allow you to score against them in your own yard. Yeah? That's who we're dealing with, Bertrand. That's who we're dealing with. It's not the same. Take what you know about Arsenal in the past and dash it out the window. This ain't the same team.
Now, I actually match up teams first, man for man, style of play, system of play, how they have operated, who they're competing against, the squad size. If we have 1 or 2 injuries, they can afford anybody, even Haaland to be injured, and they're fine. We can't afford certain players to be injured. We can afford Gabriel to be injured. We can afford Saliba to be injured. We can afford Ben White to be injured.
Do you seriously think
We'll be fine.
City can afford for Haaland to be injured and for them
Yes,
to be
they
fine?
can.
No,
Kane
they
playing center
can't.
forward from Argentina, they'll be fine. I'm telling you, they'll be fine. They were fine for years.
I agree. I agree with Bertram on that one. I do think they've got so much depth.
He's a good player, but he hasn't been setting it alight.
Who?
Yeah.
The Argentinian striker.
Alvarez is a good striker, bro.
It's a good striker. I'm not taking it away, but he hasn't been setting it alight.
He doesn't need to set it alight. He's just there as a backup. He's the backup singer, bro.
Yeah, Tony, I don't agree with that. I saw him play 2 games for City this season. They are solemnly so dependent on Haaland scoring goals that when you take him out there,
that's not true.
When you take him
No,
out,
I'm with Apollo.
and in one of the games that I saw, De Bruyne had put in 4 or 5 balls into the box, and he did a Lacazette. He was nowhere near there. He's a different kind of player, and that's not taking anything away from.
No, he needs more ball to feed. He's a better all-round player to me than Haaland, frankly.
I agree because
Haaland is brilliant in front of goal.
But they brought Haaland in there to get.
Yeah, great stat. Let me just look at Alvarez stat.
Yeah, he's not. Nobody listen. Haaland is like you know when you play FIFA, you create a player, and you've just put in a cheat code. And everything
99 rated everything.
Everything 99 rated. That's what he's like. Alvarez, come on, man. Come on. Let's be real, guys.
Even that Forest game, yeah, when they struggled. We're talking about this same Alvarez, yeah?
Yeah.
He's a player, but he's got to perform. And I'm not lauding points on players who aren't performing in games. So when you say that, you know what, City can do with that Haaland, they took Haaland off, and they still struggled in that game.
Yeah.
The same player.
He's not Haaland. He's a good player. Let's take nothing away from him. Yeah.
Still got 12 goals this season. 12 goals, 4 assists. A goal every 141 minutes. A goal every 141 minutes.
Yeah. But he needs to do it when it matters. When it matters. If he doesn't do it when it matters.
Second best to Haaland on that team. Yeah. Simple. He's a good backup. Haaland's a goal every 68 minutes. Alvarez every 141. Foden 164. Simple. The guy's a good backup dancer.
Yeah, and I agree with that.
He went into Argentina when Lautaro Martinez struggled in the World Cup. He replaced him. He played really well.
Yeah, I thought he played very well. But my thing is you have to be exceptional. That's my thing. You have to be special. We're talking about winning.
Great stat. That Facebook user, they would like to know who you are because you're really making sense here. He hardly ever starts, which is a great point. I keep saying this. If you don't start, it's very hard coming in a fat game sometimes.
Yeah, that's your guess. That's your guess.
I keep saying this. If you don't start, it's very hard. Oh, somebody has in the background.
Yeah,
sorry, that was me.
So, guys, we go to Chelsea at home. Look, I think this is the game where Graham Potter finally gets a sack because they are so enriched in trying to get the British manager to get a British-owned team and owner, and they want to. It's almost like they want to do it the right way. They want to create that environment. But and listen, I'm not taking it away. They're actually playing really well over the last 2 or 3 games. I think the problem is you get these whole group of players and you just mesh them together and try and get them to stick. And no manager can do that. You have to have some form of structure. We talked about this in the Premier League show on a Friday night, that he's bending his will too much to the players. He's meeting them halfway on his philosophies. And anytime a manager does that, you're never going to get the results. And until Graham Potter sits down there, slams his book on the table and says, no, guys, we're doing it this way. And you either, just like Arteta did at Arsenal, some of you lot complained about it, remember? I remember your voices. You said, no, he's got to utilize their talent. No. Arteta said, if your talent don't fit in this system, you ain't playing. And he struggled until he got it right. It was square pegs and round holes. I talked about this to Tony last week when I said that He's been playing in a way that he doesn't want to play. He went free at the back. Yeah, he went free at the back. Then he went a variety of different 4-3-3s. And he's done all these. He's in a single pivot right now. He's doing all these things that is unconventional to what he wants to do. And that's just because he hasn't got the men available to play the way he wants to play. But my point is, I don't think Chelsea and Graham Potter fit. I just don't. And I think this is the game that will probably be his last. If he ain't gone before then. But respect due to him, because I think that they've been playing better of recent in the last few games. I still think we're going to trash them at home. So that's 3 points. All of that talking for nothing, and it's still a win. Vincey?
3-2, man. 3-2.
Another one for Vincey. Gary?
Yeah, home win. I think Chelsea, I don't think Potter's the guy. He's one of them managers that's going to get a certain amount of results and then his team are going to drop away. So I don't think he's the guy for Chelsea. Home win. Can't see us losing to Chelsea at home. I think they're still an itsy-bitsy team. They're going to have little good performances, but all the players that they're trying to gel together, that's going to take time. And I think we beat them. I think we're too strong, and I think we beat them at home. I'm going to go.
Well, according to Tony's sheet, according to Tony's schedule here, he probably could be gone before he play Arsenal. He might be gone before they play Arsenal.
See, that's why I come to the party, because I bring these. This is the information that you need to realize is going to be a problem for Chelsea. Liverpool, Real Madrid, Brighton, Real Madrid, Man United, Brentford, before they come to us. But that boy is lucky if he's still in a job.
Yeah, I agree, man. That shout out to Unai Emery, who's doing things at Villa right now. Ebony?
Right, well, Chelsea have been inconsistent this season, and their inconsistency will continue. They've got some good players, but they're not gelling. So therefore, and I don't think that this will be the game that ends Potter's tenure at Chelsea. But that being said, we tend to concede, so I'm going to go for 3-1.
Bertram, what league position are Chelsea in?
I actually haven't checked, but I'll say this. I hope they don't get together before they play us, because I think Real Madrid will have problems with Chelsea. Conte is supposedly played behind doors, going to be come back in the team. Conte, Fernandez with Kovacic in the midfield. That's not a bad midfield. Sterling coming back healthy with the Brazilian back in the center half between James and Fofana there. That's not a bad team, frankly. That's not a bad bunch of players if you get them right and organized. So we can all say, you know what? They're all over the place. They've had some injuries. They brought a lot of new players. If they can situate themselves right, given the quality they have, you never know when quality will turn up. So I wouldn't have this view that, first of all, he's not getting sacked this year. It's an American owner. He knows what he's doing. He knows it seems like he's all over the place. He's bought a bunch of players. This is the transition year. They're going to put them together. They're going to figure out who they got to get rid of, like the Aubameyangs of the world, some of the players. They'll get their 25, 30-man squad, and they'll get organized, right? I think we're going to win 2-1, but it's going to be a tougher game than people think.
Yeah.
But I believe they'll I watched a kid play for them who played wing for the under 21 for England yesterday. He's a good player. They have good players.
Vincey.
I was going to say the amount. It all depends on the matter how. If they lose to Madrid in a bad way, don't forget Nagelsmann is available. Yeah. So if they get proper battered and humiliated, and they're really chasing points to get into the Champions League, I can see them getting rid of Potter. If not before or after we give them licks.
Vincey, nobody has better Chelsea this season. How many goals have Chelsea given up this season? How many goals have Chelsea given up this season? The entire Premier League season.
Tell me.
About 27, 28.
Tell me.
In the late 20s. They've given up less than 30 goals this season. Go check any stats. One of the best in the league.
It's 28.
Okay, so
28 goals in 27 games, 26 games, something around there?
Games, yeah.
Okay, so you got the goals.
How much have we given up? 26?
Okay, but Bertram, you got the goals,
Right.
but how they played in
They
the
can't
game.
score, so they won't get better, Vince. What I'm saying is they won't get better. They may not score, but they won't get better.
So you don't think that they may lose 2-3-0, and that's not a battering based on the way how Real Madrid can just toy with them and Chelsea not perform.
I
in
watched
2
Real
minutes.
Madrid play Barcelona. They're not as good as people think they are.
I
Watch them
think
play Barca and lost to Barca. They're not as good as people think they are.
I think the problem with Liverpool, the problem with Chelsea, sorry, is
Can't
and
score
this is
goals.
and this is about every team, whether it's sports team, business, or whatever. Without structure, it doesn't matter who your individuals are. You have to have structure in your team. You have to have some type of philosophy and structure so that everybody knows what they're doing. They don't play like they know what they're doing. They at the moment, what they're doing is off their talent, and it's not very good. Let's be fair.
Guys, Apollo,
Yeah.
they've scored 29 goals this season.
They can't
Put
score.
your head around that. They've scored 29 goals in what? 27 games. They can't score. That's their problem. It's not
Yeah,
defending.
that's right.
Or
They can't score. We scored 69 goals. They scored 29. It's ridiculous.
And that's because they don't have that structure that I talked about. They just don't have it. When you look at the way how their players play, I mean, what's the guy from Atletico Madrid? Felix.
Yes.
He's quality.
No, Felix.
He's
he's
quality.
quality.
They got quality
He's-
over pitch, Apollo.
He's
Phoenix,
quality.
Sterling, Havertz, Fernandez, Kante coming back.
Yeah, but
Double
listen,
check.
all the other
quality
guys who just mentioned, they're not at this guy's level, man. I listen. Sterling's my cousin, and I even have to call him.
No,
out.
Sterling has been playing well. He's just been injured quite a bit this season.
He has.
I've watched him play. He's been playing well. I'm telling you, he's been playing well.
But Felix, when I see him on the ball, different class.
And that's why I want that.
29 goals. Wait, look at the stats. I mean, everybody scores more than Chelsea. That's their problem, goal scoring.
So I'm kind of happy with where that one is, but I don't think there'll be a problem. The problem comes in the next game, Newcastle away. Now,
I think we won the league by now, haven't we? I think we've won the league by now, haven't we?
Guys, this game last year, everyone talks about the Spurs game. It was this game that really broke us. We had, if we was a car, we would be in the red. We would be running on fumes. That's how we turned up to this game, and they were all over us. And I kind of felt bad for our guys because they had nothing more to give. And I was saying that continuously leading into the game. I said, none of the guys who got Odegaard, Saka, none of them, Martinelli, none of them were scoring goals. The midfield was ripped apart. Injuries to Tomiyasu, Ben White, Thomas Partey, Kieran Tierney. It just ripped the heart and soul out of the team. We had nothing more to give. This season, though, Arsenal are a different animal. It's still going to be a tough game, but you know what? I actually think we can go up there and beat them. Listen, they don't score many goals, although Isak is in fine form at the moment. He really is in good form. Amaran, he scored the other day, but his form's completely vanished.
Isak didn't look too good for Holland on Saturday.
He didn't get much minutes.
Yeah, I don't count international games.
No, he played for Sweden.
Yeah, I don't talk about international games because you
yes.
can look like a star for your international team and come back to club level and just look.
You got about 15
God
minutes.
awful.
Abramovich started. He didn't get much.
Yeah, the Premier League is just a different energy. Look, I don't think they are the team that they were in the first half of the season. They had goals. I mean, look, St. Minimum can't even get on the field these days. But Amaron's struggling to score. I love what Isak is doing, but they're just missing that balance and they're leaking goals, guys. They're leaking goals. They've allowed goals in their last 6 games, and that's not Newcastle. So I'm going to chalk this one up as an away win. Vinci.
1-0 now. 1-0. 1-0.
Is that a set minimum own goal?
Listen, if St. Minimum's lucky enough to get on the pitch, and
Gary,
not waste the next.
You better hope St. Minimum don't have one of those City days when he destroyed City. It'd be a long afternoon for a right back.
Gary.
I'm gonna go for a draw. I think we saw what Newcastle did at the Emirates. They're gonna be defensive, hard to break down. They don't score many goals, so the onus will probably be on us again because they're not going to come out and try and play against us. And I see it ending 1-0. So I'm going to go draw.
Yeah, I think Trossard or Reece Nelson gets the winner in this game. Ebony.
Right, well, Newcastle tend to play 11 players behind the ball when they play us at St James's Park. And yes, it was difficult last season, but as you said, Apollo, we're a different animal. Therefore, I think we're going to win. And it's going to be 1-0.
Yeah, I think it was Tony who was at the Emirates with me when we played Newcastle. And
That was me, wasn't it?
No, it was Gary. We looked at each other and we said, that is embarrassing. They've come to the Emirates and after 10 minutes, they were time wasting.
Listen, and they was third in the league at the time, was they not?
Yeah, I was like,
Pretty sure they was third in the league, third or fourth in the league.
Dropped off badly.
Remember when we come out, all their fans was like gloating that they got a draw, and I thought it was just embarrassing for a team that's like third in the Premier League with all these aspirations to be happy with how they played.
So Gary, what's the score here?
I'm saying 1-0 draw.
A draw. Tony and Bertram. I'm going to go with Bertram again first because I don't want. Bertram.
You want me to pick it back up, Tony?
You know what I should do?
I'm going to say.
I should take it in turns. I'm
going to say 2-2. They've only given up 19 goals in 26 games. A phenomenal goal against record. Phenomenal.
Yeah,
Next
but
us is us. We have 25 against. So.
But how much have they given up in the last 4 or 5? They've been leaking goals in every single game. That's what I'm saying.
If they're leaking goals in 26 games and give up 19, it's still a phenomenal record.
It is, but my point. It is, but my point was, Bertram, that the first half of the season they weren't letting goals in, and their midfield was on fire. Like they had goals coming everywhere. Now they're struggling to score, and they're leaking goals.
Now the problem is Guimaraes and Willock have been in and out of the team. And they have that real balance between those two, right? That's the real. People don't realize how well those two have played together and help the forward line. Isak is not playing better because Wilson wasn't scoring. They probably won't play St. Minimum that much, frankly, but he may play. The kid, the Paraguayan, has been running out of steam a little bit. But they're tough at home. They have the Geordies behind them. They got the support. They relish it. I think it's going to be a drawn game. I have that as a drawn game, just like I have Liverpool game.
Yeah, Bertram, you got a lot of draws, man.
I have 3 draws and 1 loss.
Do you? Liverpool's a draw. Newcastle.
We have one to come.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm not sure we can win the league with those. With those.
That's 6 points. So
predictions.
City has to drop 1 more game. That's 6 points.
Tony. I think Tony's on the phone. I think Tony
more than
might be...
6. There's 2 draws, 3 draws. That's 6 and 3. That's 9 points we lose right there. Actually, so City has to lose.
That's what I'm saying. That's 9 points.
Yeah, that's 9 points.
Yeah.
Nobody's got any belief.
It's look, guys. Arsenal have won since they've lost to City. They've won 6 in a row, and I think those 6 games, none of us probably would have gone 6 for 6 in in the run of 6 games.
Nah, I think I went 6 for 6.
You went 6 for 6.
The Liverpool, Man City, Newcastle. I always thought going to be the challenging game and Brighton are the challenging game for us. Those are the 4 games we're going to be challenged with.
So, Tony, are you ready? It looked like you was on the phone. He's not ready yet. Okay. So, essentially, we have 10 FA Cup finals or 10 cup finals to play.
Yeah, our Saka speaking. He said 10 finals.
10 finals. Is that what he said?
Yeah.
That's the right mentality to have, man. And you've
they interviewed him after the England game. They interviewed him that he was man of the match, and he said 10 finals.
And I think we only have 1 game midweek in that whole run. All the other games are played on the weekend. I think the midweek game might even be the Man City game, actually.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think it's the Man City game that's in the week. I have to check that. I'll double check that.
No, I
But,
said England game, not England game. The last game, Premier League game we played, they interviewed him, and he did say 10 finals. So
Yeah. So, guys, wow. Hey, listen, out of the frying pan into the fire. This can't be right because we played Brighton and beat them away from home. So this should be a home game.
Yeah, Brighton's at home.
Yeah, let me just change that.
When you sending people,
Because we beat them away, so this is home. I don't care whether it's away at home. This is still going to be a tough game. I'm going to go for a draw with this one, guys. Brighton, they're just a tough team, man. They play well. They have a set. I mean, me and Bertrand were saying that they should put a bid in for Matuma. And now we're hearing that they called his agent this morning. And to find out what the release clause was. It's a 35 million release clause. So Edu must be licking his chops at that.
Is Matuma not on? Is Matuma not on loan?
I don't know whether he's on loan or not. They just talked to his agent about his contract.
They signed him for 2 million. No, they signed him for 2 million, didn't they? From some Japanese team.
He's not on loan.
Yeah. Even if you were on loan, Tone, Gary, your contract will still have a release clause in it. I know the one for Sambi Lokonga is like 30 million or something like that. And, you know, apparently a couple of teams are talking to us about Sambi Lokonga as well as Tavares.
Sambi has played well for Palace, actually.
He has. The question for him is, how does he fit into Roy Hodgson's, even though that's not a long-term thing anyway.
No, he's going to start for them. I'm sure he's going to start for them.
But I digress. I look, Brighton, I think that's going to be a tough one. I think that's going to be a hugely tough game. And I think that they're going to put up a fight there and it'll go down to the wire. And I don't know whether we're going to get over the line in that. It's such a good team. I'm going for a draw. Vincey.
2-2. 2-2.
2-2. He's gone for a draw as well. Gary? Gary?
It's gone for the Desmond. Gone for the Desmond.
What's that?
Gone for the Desmond 2-2.
2-2.
Oh,
2-2.
Okay.
Really tough game. Brighton are a really good team. It's going to be really tough and challenging. Yeah, Brighton are a really good team. It's going to be tough and challenging. I think we will sneak a win. Maybe 2-1. I'm going for a win.
Ooh, Gary with that Emirates energy. Gary's with me at Leeds, by the way. Guys, the next home game is Southampton. I don't know what's going to happen with Southampton and Chelsea. Those are the next two games, so I'll let you know what's going on. All I know is that the running. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4 home games after the Leeds game, so tickets are just going to be mad. Tickets are going to be. I'm already hearing people say they'll pay £200 for a ticket, which is silly. Yeah. It's mad. It's mad.
People will.
It's mad. I'm reading on Arsenal ticket site. People are asking for tickets for 200, and they'll pay £200. That's on Chia's site, and it's going to be nuts. There's going to be nothing. I think they're already sold out. Next up is Ebony.
Yes, Brighton are a very good team, but they'll be full of fish and chips by the time they get to the Emirates.
Plenty. Hey, Brighton fish and chips good, you know.
I know.
Yeah, and they do the cheesy chips, don't they? You know them cheesy
Mayans.
chips.
Yeah.
Mayans.
Yeah.
Sussex ends.
They're tough. I mean, they were tough at home. However, I think it'll be a really hard-fought win, and it'll be. I'm going to go for 2-1.
That's why I said 2-1.
Yeah.
Excellent, Bertram.
Yeah.
Brighton, man.
I say 2-2. When we played them last, beat them 4. They came back and scored 2 second half. There was no McAllister. There was no Caicedo. Their midfield is a World Cup winner and a player we want to buy for $7 million. And they didn't play in the game against us, which says a lot, frankly. So, and they've been playing really, really well. So I think it's going to be a draw game. They knock us out the FA Cup. I think it's going to be a draw game.
So
Tough
you
game for
think
us.
that? So you think Caicedo will handle Thomas Partey?
I think Caicedo will hold his own. His stats are excellent. He will hold his own.
Mm.
He's 21 years old. He's good on the ball. He's athletic. He runs all day. He doesn't want to play Partey per se, because they're playing different positions, but I think it's going to be a tough game.
So, guys, Arsenal then, in their penultimate game of the season, this is the second to last game, they will be going to Nottingham Forest.
Oh, please. My
And,
7-year-old mum will beat them on her own.
Yeah, I think Arsenal just run rampant there. I think they win that 3-0 away to Forest. Vincey?
4-0.
4-0 Vincey. Gary?
6-0.
Ebony?
I'm going to go for 3-0. It'll be one of those games where my mum will beat them on her own.
You've missed that one. We haven't heard that one on 101 for a while.
My 77-year-old mum will beat them on her own.
Wow,
The game relegated. This will be the game that relegates them if they're not relegated already.
Are you talking about Brighton?
No.
It's Forest.
No.
He hasn't changed the banner. Forest.
Still on the screen, you've got Brighton. I'm thinking to myself, what on earth are you talking about?
You haven't said yet.
Live virus.
I was going berserk.
There we go.
I'm thinking, what? Okay. Okay.
Right, Ebony. So, Tony, you have to give me Ashley.
Newcastle.
You've got to give me Newcastle and Brighton.
Brighton, yeah. So
They got some
Newcastle
cuckoo, man.
are gonna go with a 1-1 draw. Brighton away. Home. Okay.
Yes, home.
Home. I
Look
got
at that, look
2-1
at that.
win
Good
to
there, boy.
Arsenal.
Wow.
Same as me and Ebony.
Yeah. Bertram, Nottingham Forest.
4-0 Arsenal. Not much to talk about.
Tony, Nottingham Forest.
I'll join Bertram on 4-0.
Tony's going to go first in the last round. So, guys, this is the one. This is the game that could it just said 6-0. So, guys, this is the game that could win Arsenal the title. It's at home to Wolves. I remember when they went up against Wolves and it ended up being a draw. I remember also when they were beating us 1-0 at the Emirates and Mkhitaryan scored in the last minute of the game with that fluke kind of crossing kick over the penalty area, and then the goalkeeper misread it and it went in the back of the net. But Wolves have had problems scoring goals all season, and I don't think that they'll have enough for Arsenal. It will be a home game in front of their own fans, and I think, guys, that this is the game that Arsenal will win the title in front of their own fans. So I'm going to go with a win at home to Wolves. Arsenal are champions. My score would be 26 out of a possible 30, which will be good enough considering they have a 5-point lead. It would be good enough to give them the title.
2
Vincent,
points, no?
yep.
4-2 Arsenal. Gonna be a parade. I'm already in Islington, so I'm just waiting for you guys to just come and meet up, man.
So Vincey then ends. Actually, while I've got you guys up, let me do this on the last scores because I didn't put the banner up. I didn't put the Excel sheet up for the whole stream because I just wanted to see everybody's faces. And while I'm finishing off, why don't I put it on now? So, and let me take that away as well. So, where am I? I'm down here. So, Gary, sorry, go back to Vincey. So, Vincey is 24 out of a possible 30 points. Is that going to be enough to win the title, Vincey?
The only caveat that I would possibly change, obviously, is the Brighton game, and that's all about form. I mean, it's hard enough doing 10 games. You know, it can move either way, but as I say, the Brighton game could flip into a win. I'd love the Liverpool game to flip into a win, man, because that's what I'm talking about this season. Licks.
Okay, so
24, I think 24 can do it, but we have to get them. Listen, if Arsenal get a result against City, over.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm
And
saying it's over.
you're also asking City to win 10 games in a row in the
Exactly.
middle of a hectic
Ain't gonna
schedule.
happen.
Exactly.
I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think they're
Gonna
as good
happen.
as they were last season. I've been saying it all season long.
Yeah, I
don't
agree.
think they're as good as they are
Next
from
match.
last season. And I think that they just got a mistake in them. Villa, Villa went and played them previously before with Steven Gerrard, and they couldn't beat them. They draw them. We talk about Arsenal drawing with Southampton. This is the Premier League. This is why I talked to Bertram about Bournemouth. It's the Premier League. You don't turn up to any team and think automatically, 3 points. You don't do it. Even if you're Man City, you don't do it because the chances are, and the past tells us that this is true, that you're not going to win every game.
Down.
Gary, Wolves at home.
No way that we're going to lose this one. It's a guaranteed 3 points. Last game of the season. We're going to go out in style. I'm going to go 4-0.
So the question to you is, you then have a possible 23 out of a possible 30 points. Is that good enough to win the league?
Who knows? Again, like Vincey, it's going to come down. A lot's going to rest on the City game and what City do. That's the fact of the matter, isn't it? If we don't lose to City and we maintain the 5 point gap, then we should be good.
Over. Yeah.
Bertram, Wolves at home.
3-0 against Wolves.
So Bertram,
In fact, you know what? 3-1. 3-1.
So Bertram,
we give up goals at home.
Yeah.
So Bertram, you are a possible 21 points out of 30. I don't think that's good enough to win the league.
So what you're basically saying is that City will not drop more than 4 points in the last 10 games. So the goal average is pretty close. The goal differential is pretty close. It's a 1 goal, right? It's like a 1 or 2 goal difference. So differential is very, very close. So we may end up tied there. So you're saying they won't drop more than 4 points. If they don't drop more than 4 points, it'll be tough for us.
Yeah, because remember,
if they drop 5 points, give my numbers, then we win, right?
Agreed, but you've gone for City winning at their place, which really, really turns the screw.
Yes.
I mean that's the 6 pointer, isn't it?
But they have to play Liverpool away. They have to play Brighton. They have to play Chelsea. They're playing a lot of teams, and they have Champions League. They have FA Cup. They have a lot of football to play, even though they have 2 squads. So they could drop 4 points or 5 points.
So you do think that's good enough to win Arsenal the league?
I am optimistic. I still think it's going to be tough, but yes, it should be good enough, frankly.
Tony, Wolves at home.
Okay, that's an easy win. 3-0.
So Tony, you have a
Eddie
possible.
Nketiah hat-trick.
So Tony, you have 25 out of a possible 30 points. Oh, that's going to be tight. That is, but the fact that you've gone for Arsenal beating City, it doesn't really matter then, because City, according to these results, City would be too far behind.
No, Tony doesn't have 25 out of 30 because Tony doesn't have the Chelsea game. So that means Tony's saying 29 out of 30. 28 out of 30?
Didn't he say?
Yeah. He doesn't have the Chelsea game up there.
I'm looking at that, thinking, I'm sure I went for Chelsea, home win against Chelsea.
So you went for Chelsea.
He's saying we win the league then.
Yeah, for sure.
So you went for so you went off the beat. So that's 28 points. Oh, so that's not even questionable there. We're going to win the league in that respect. The same with La African Guna. La African Guna went with a Leeds win, Liverpool draw, West Ham win, Southampton win, City draw, all the rest of the games win. 26 out of a possible 30. That would make Arsenal champions. Ebony.
Right. Well, Wolves, that's going to be a win. It'll be tough because they're a tough team to break. So I'm going to go for 2-0.
So Ebony's gone Tom Aston. Both of them 10 wins in a row, which would back up the 6.
No surprises there. No surprises there.
Look, I'm optimistic.
Which would back up the what we had with Tom. I'm taking this down now so I can put this on the forum. I'm just using a cutting tool so I can cut this. and then I can save it, and then I can put it on the forum and on the website. Here we go. Yep, that's all done. So let me close this down now. And where's the banner gone? Where are you? There you are. So guys, it looks like most of us are roughly in the ballpark to say that Arsenal will probably win the league.
We will.
Considering the situation at hand, there is probably 20, maybe 25% a chance that City come back and make it. But there's one thing that is consistent in this podcast that we're having today. And we got a lot of things to say about the teams that we play, but we should also have something to say about Arsenal, because Arsenal in all of this is the big difference. That's the intangible that's making this thing happen. Tony, I told you how I feel about the Balogun thing, man. I wanted to come back here and show what he can do, because every time I try to feel happy about the goals he's scoring, Lacazette, man, has got 14, 15 goals in that league. He couldn't hit a barn door.
He's actually got 17.
That makes it even worse, Tone.
Exactly. That's why I don't get carried away with it. A lot of people talk about it, and I'm just like, yeah, let's see what he can do when he comes back. What it does prove, though, is that he has it in him. And also, for sure, what it proves,
I mean,
is that
if he was playing for Marseille and he scored 17 goals, I'd be impressed. But he's playing for Reims. You understand what that is? That's like Southampton.
Yeah.
With their part-time manager who ain't even got his badges.
Will is just different gravy. He's different gravy.
Just said, whatever happens, it's going to be one hell of a ride. It could be an
mate.
89 moment.
Oh,
He also says, you lot are making me nervous. So listen, guys, let's get an overall opinion on where we are with the league. Me, myself, I did a video on the channel in November, and the video was called Can Arsenal Win the League? And I said it then, and I'm going to say it again. Manchester City are not the same team as they were last season. I don't think they're stronger. I think they have the best squad. I think they've got great players. But I think the way the team was set up last season was more like how Arsenal is set up now, where you just had goals from De Bruyne, Sterling, Jesus, Mahrez, Foden. They were just, you couldn't stop them from scoring. They were just dominating teams. They were the creativity, the movement, everything was just exceptional at the highest level. This season, they've become too one-dimensional. And while all the accolades are going to be thrown at Haaland, I think whether he's made them weaker or stronger is an opinion. What it has done is changed the way they played. And I don't think that is an improvement. I really don't. And time will tell how this thing is going to work out for them. That being said, Arsenal have evolved into the way how City played last season. And that is very difficult to look how many games Arsenal, just 2 games in 27, 2 matches in 27. That's how many games. No one even comes close to that. Look at Arsenal's league record in comparison to every team in Europe. Spain, Germany, Italy, any league you want. The Gunners don't lose a lot of games, and they just have this different type of energy, which I said to Bertram about the fact that we couldn't beat Liverpool, the fact that we couldn't beat Spurs at their ground in nearly a decade. That ain't this team. It's a different team. I just think that what we're seeing here is the youngest team in the league. Alan Hansen is going to eat humble pie when this team carries it on, and I think it's going to take them to the title. I think Arsenal will win the league. Tony?
So I am fully invested in the last 10 games. I am super excited to see how this is going to pan out. It could all fall over on the first game. However,
yeah,
I'm being optimistic. I'm trying to use all the best analytical data that I can to give myself the best possible mental preparation for this 10 cup finals that we are now preparing ourselves to face. And that's all it is, 10 cup finals. Each one as important as the next. We start at Leeds, we go on to Man City, up to Liverpool. We know what we have to do. The boys know what they have to do. You know, look, my only reservation is injuries. But if we have our best players out on that pitch, starting games, I'm pretty confident everything I predicted will happen and we will win. We will win the league. But I'm going to enjoy the ride either way. Even if we don't win it, I'm going to enjoy the ride.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I'm right there. I think that, you know, I talked to Bertram a lot about this. Bertram don't like lone losers, you know. You know, I see how we watch the Knicks. I see how he watch the New York Giants.
He don't suffer fools.
I don't know how he will take this if Arsenal don't get this over the line. I worry for my brother from New York. I'll come on to him in a minute. Vince,
can I just jump in because I've got to put my kids to bed. Can I just give my closing comments? Sorry, Vincey. Yeah, I'm in Tony's ballpark. 10 cup finals. Go out there, 10 games, leave everything on the pitch. Keep doing what we're doing. Yeah, play to our strength, play our game. Let's go get this done. Standard procedure. Guys, I love you all. Have a peaceful evening, night, day, good week, and I'll see you all soon.
Take care, Gary.
And come on, you Gunners.
Gary. Cheers, man.
Big up yourself, Gary, man.
Bye, Gary.
Bye.
Vincey, are we going to win the league?
Listen, I've been saying this since October. I've been waiting for the games to pan out the way they panned out, and I've looked and seen how the team have grown in the challenge that's ahead. Now, as fans, yeah, we're going to back our team 100%. But the players have actually gone out and given us the belief that we can be in this situation. And they've had a very tough season, and we're still in it. And they're still playing good football. So you've got to give them the plaudits that they deserve. 10 games, 10 cup finals. But they're giving us confidence 3/4 of the season that they can do the job. And they deserve to do the job. So me as a fan, I'm looking at these games and saying, you know what, I'm going to give them the best opportunity to help hold their heads high and take the title from Man City at Man City. That's why I'm confident. Now, football, anything can happen in football, but I believe in this squad. I believe that when we go to these games, some of our players are going to have better performances than they had in those games before. So Gabriel, he's going to step up because he's had 2 games against Man City where he's been a little bit. If he's on form and Saliba's on form, game over. So I believe we're going to win the league. I believe we deserve to win the league. Now, that's not taking anything away from Man City because I think they've had a phenomenal season considering the players they've left, they've sold, and I could not believe they allowed Cancelo to leave, and they're still in this position. So, yeah, take Haaland away, the league will be over and done with. But they're still there, they're still kicking on, they're still fighting, and they've got the distraction of the Champions League, which they want more. So,
it's a great point.
I'm 100. Listen, they have to be phenomenal right now until the end of the season. And just like we need to have our players fit, Man City need to have their players fit because if certain players don't turn up, then it's going to be even more of a struggle for them. So it's all to play for both teams. But in my mind, I know you haven't put a banner up there below saying Arsenal the champions, but that's what I'm reading right now. Arsenal the champions.
Yep. Boy, Ebony.
Look, you know, we've been waiting for this moment for how long, since what, 2004, and we're in touching distance. Yeah, like 19 years since we last won the league, and that was the unbeaten season. And we're in pole position right now, and the only team that can actually screw us up is us. Yeah. So all I ask for as a fan is that we go out there and we do what we need to do, and that is just to win. You know, even if they're all hard-fought wins, because now every other team will be on guard and they'll probably throw 11 players behind the ball to defend and defend and defend. That being said, we can get it done. You know, we have the players. All right, we don't have the strength in depth that Man City do. I mean, Man City have about 3-4 teams, but we have the players that are good enough to go out and get the job done. Therefore, I think we will win. Even if we lose one game out of the 10 that we have left, I can't see why we can't win it. And we can, and we will.
Tony's pointing to a comment. G saying, still, it's all theoretical and it will change every game. If Liverpool gets something at the Etihad, the Emirates will be rampant before our 3 p.m. kickoff against Leeds. A win then, yeah, that would mean it. That would be it, really, because then that would be a 11-point gap with City with a game in hand. Well, that's going to be tough. That's going to be tough to come back against. Again, I say again, guys, a team like Arsenal who have lost just 2 games in 27. I mean, you're actually asking, forget about City, and this is directed at you, Bertram. Forget about City. You're actually asking, how are Arsenal going to drop points? That's the question, because that's where you can, that's how you're going to win the league, right? If you're Man City, you're asking yourself, where are Arsenal going to drop points? And you key Liverpool, you key Newcastle, the Manchester City game, that's 9 points. So that's what you key in. But at the same time, you got to take care of your own garden. Now, are City good enough to go on a 10-game winning streak? Only City is in control of that. Only they'll be able to deal with that. But the issue is not Manchester City. It's not in their hands. They could effectively beat Arsenal and still lose the title because the Gunners just don't lose games. Every time they've gone away from home, we've all sat around and be like, it's a tough game. Go down Brighton. Go down Spurs. It's never easy. Go down. And look what's happened. Look how many clean sheets they get away from home. We need to kind of bring this back to how different this team is and how they've reinvented themselves and how they've proved everybody wrong. And like I said, there's no fear. They don't care. They don't care it's Man City. Anfield, they ain't won up there for a decade. They don't care. They don't care. They have no interest in what they happened previously. How many, and Liverpool used to knock 3-4 goals past us every game. They don't care. And that is working for them, not against them. Every time it happens, they're proving us wrong. Bertram, are we going to win the league?
So I'm going to answer that. I'll say this, which is, I'm not upset if we don't win the league. And why? Because I'm on the process. We're ahead of schedule, frankly. In fact, I think we're 2 years ahead of schedule, what anyone says. I still think next year and going forward, Premier League is going to be much more difficult to win, frankly. Newcastle hasn't started spending real money yet. Chelsea going to get their act together. They have tons of players. City always going to be there, even with their problems with FFP. Liverpool will bounce back, right? So you're talking about, we won't talk about Spurs, because Spurs I think are going to drop further back. You're talking about 5 or 6 teams who are going to be vying. Man U, buying Osimhen and a few more players, they get North African money. If they get sold with real money, it's challenging. We don't have those spending power, and they're getting better managers and coaches. But I do think we're ahead of schedule, given where we were. Because we gave away a bunch of players and brought players in, and they're young. We're the youngest team in the league, so all we can do is build on that. As Tony said, the injury component is a very concerning, because if Partey goes down, yeah, we are Jorginho, but not the same. Saliba or Gabriel goes down in the next 10 games, we're challenged because Holding is not the best replacement. We have no replacement for Ben White, no matter we talk about moving a left back to right back. Up front, we're fine because all those players up front are interchangeable. All 5, 6 of them, except for maybe Nketiah to some respect, they're interchangeable. They can play wide, they can play inside. And we can put Zinchenko inside to play where Xhaka play and put Tierney at left back. Those things, but we don't have replacement for certain players who are key in terms of how we play. Because Saliba and Gabriel are as important and Partey as anyone else on the field, given how aggressive we are. So my hope is that they don't get injured. Do I expect us to win the league? I think it's going to be tight. I'm still vacillating because I still think Man City can go on a run and can be as brutal and as ruthless as they were against Leipzig and blow people away if they get their act together. Because I don't think they've got their act together. Go ahead, Tony.
Question for you, Bertram, and in fact, I'll throw it out to everyone. Do you think Manchester City get to the Champions League final this year?
No.
Yes.
Yes,
I think their biggest test is what to get the 2 games coming with Bayern. That's their biggest test for the Champions League. I think if they win that, I think they win the league.
I think they win because Bayern just sacked their manager, so they're gonna get a result against Bayern. And
I was Bayern against PSG. They weren't overly impressive. They were better, but they weren't overly impressive against a team to me which lacked only play with 8 defenders because the 3 people up front don't play defense.
And I think with
Messi
them,
and Mbappe are. Yeah.
And I think with them going all the way to the Champions League final plays into our hands. So it's like, okay, we have to. I believe if we throw it away, with City going away to the Champions League final, then it makes it difficult in those last few games. It gets very nervous for us because we've got points in hand right now. So we've got to get a result against City. We get a result against City.
Okay, that's a 6-point game, right? If we beat City, to me it's over if we beat City because it's a 6-point game.
Yeah.
If we don't beat City, it's gonna be. If they beat us, it's gonna be tough.
That's when it gets nervous. It really gets nervous there because you're then hoping. We're looking over our shoulders, and we haven't really been looking over our shoulders. We've been looking forward and getting the results, and that's the way how you want to continue. That's the way how you want to cross the finishing line, and that's the way I believe we're going to do it.
I do have a question here from GG saying, Bertram and Apollo explain. Look, it's talking in terms about what Bertram said about sustainability. Is it sustainable? The one thing you have to understand is when Leicester won the league, it was definitely an anomaly because it was the only time in the last 25 years that a team outside of the top 4 actually won the Premier League. So it doesn't happen every year. The biggest difference is the value of that team as well. Like they didn't have any money. They earned 400 million that year for being title winners. And they did it with 81 points. Now, if Arsenal beat Leeds, they've only played, 27 games or somewhere around there. Now, if they beat Leeds, Arsenal would be on, what would they be on? 60, hold on a second. Arsenal would be on 72 points after 29 games with 9 games left to play. So Arsenal at the moment are looking like scoring around the 90 mark. And not just that, but you look at the competitiveness in terms of City chasing Arsenal. When Leicester won the league, nobody was anywhere. I mean, Arsenal finished runners-up and they were 10 points behind them.
Now, but when Leicester won the league, the teams weren't good, right?
Yeah,
the league they weren't that great. Arsenal, Tottenham, Man U was a transition year, I think, with Fergie. Was that a transition year after Fergie?
It was.
It wasn't the best time in terms of the league and where the league was. We have much more money now in the league, much more spending occurring. We are outspending Europe in totality by far. Chelsea may have spent a whole lot more money than Europe did, frankly, this year. So I don't think there's a comparison right there. Actually,
another thing, Bertram, is this is the youngest team in the league. If you looked at Leicester and the ages of Vardy, Drinkwater, and those guys, that was them. You know, that was their pinnacle. It was their magic year to achieve and there was no sort of roadmap to say, well, when these big teams like Man United and City and all these guys start spending money, they're gonna come back, and Leicester's gonna get swallowed up in it. And that's exactly what happened with Arsenal. You're actually looking at the team becoming stronger. You're looking at the most important thing about Arsenal this season, and the players will tell you, is the connection with the fans. What I've seen in the Emirates, I've never seen in all my time of being a season ticket holder there. 17 years, and I've never seen anything like it. The connection, Arsenal, if someone had told me a stadium that used to be called the Library, that players would make mistakes, get red cards, score own goals, and the fans stand up and applaud. What? If somebody said to me, Apollo, next season, you wait until you see how close the fans are with the players. Like, the players can mess up and the fans will be applauding them. If someone told, I would say that you were crazy and you must be living in another dimension. But that's what's happening right now. We go down a goal and the roar from the crowd to get the players back into it is like something I've never seen before. I used to, and I've always said, best set of fans in the States I've been to is Milwaukee, Green Bay Packers, my wife's team. And the best fans in the Premier League that I've known is Liverpool fans. Liverpool fans, their team could be 3-0 down and they would still be cheering. I remember when I went up there to see Liverpool, the beast, Julio Baptista, score a hat-trick when we beat them 6-3. And I've never heard a set of fans cheer, scream, chant as loud as those Liverpool fans did that night. I was like, what on earth is going on? I've never seen this before. Arsenal are actually reaching, within the space of just one season, by the way, they're actually reaching those status where the players know, even if they mess up, their fans are still going to be behind them. Could you imagine if you was a player? And I'm talking to all of you guys. Imagine if you was a player, and we know when the England national team play, they play in fear because of the press, the fans, the feedback, and all. It's always been said their players play with fear and they could never express themselves. And to a point, that might be changing. But Arsenal's players, they play with no fear. They have their fans. They have the manager, the backing of the manager, the backing of the fans. They could do no wrong. So in their eyes, in the eyes of Martinelli, in the eyes of Saka, Smith Rowe, Odegaard, Saliba, you can go out there and mess up and it will never, ever, ever phase the support that you get. That is what's going to take them over the line. That's why they're 5 points clear at the top of the table.
So anyone have a view on this kid that plays for Southampton? I came from City, Romeo Lafia. You seen him play?
I can't. I've seen the links with him. I've seen numerous links with him, but I don't know the player that well.
Quality. Watch him in a few games, quality, and he carries the ball too, which makes it interesting. So we need an 8 that has those skill sets. I think they have a buyback clause for City. The buyback clause for 40-something mil, but I think we should be looking at that kid. Actually.
Bertram, I think to go on to what you just said, I think this summer is going to be very different for our guys because we're, could you imagine? I remember Rafinha's agent talking about, his player admiring what Arsenal are doing now. Last season, Arsenal weren't even in Champions League, and you chose Barcelona over us. And I think this summer,
I don't want Rafinha.
To be honest, it wasn't a bad move for the kid because he's about to win the league with Barcelona.
Yeah,
and they could win the Europa League as well.
But my point is, you're going to have players looking at Arsenal now, thinking Arsenal's a club that I want to go to play for.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, you're thinking Arsenal is a club that I want to play for.
No, look, Arsenal is good because people like living in London. That's one thing. If you're a youngster, you want to live. Some people want to live around the city. Most people do actually. It's a good place to live. It's a young team, so people probably you want to play with who are young. The future looks bright. They have an innovative manager. It's a good story to tell. And we're going to be in the Champions League next year. So
I wouldn't be I wouldn't bemoan any man going to Barcelona or Real Madrid if all their life they grew up watching the players at those two clubs and thinking to themselves, one day I aspire to go into that club. So
and the weather, not a bad place to live, Tony.
Yeah, choosing
Not a bad place to
Barcelona
live.
over Arsenal, I wouldn't bemoan anybody for that making that decision. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense. So I'm not at all unhappy that Rafinha chose that option. Good luck to the kid. I liked him. I think he's a good footballer. I think he's taking his time to warm into that team, but now he looks like he's doing a thing. Whether he can stay there with their financial woes that they're about to go through even more of them, I don't know. But look, let's just see how it goes for him and any other players that they've got, because I understand they're going to have to go on a potential fire sale at the end of the season. So let's see. But, look, that's them. We're concentrating on us.
Yeah.
No, we want a few other players. I would take Gavi tomorrow.
Yeah, he's been linked.
I'll take Gavi. Brilliant player.
I see, much like you, I see the players that are being linked with Arsenal. You know me, I don't like to get involved in transfer rumors.
You love it, man. You love it. You love it, man. You love it.
Nah, you know what? Let the man do his thing. When he chooses who he's gonna buy, whether it be Declan Rice or Casado or Tielemans or whoever, let him choose what he want to choose. I'm gonna be there at the start of next season, cheering him on either way, with a league title or without a league title. Now, if he gets a league title, Bertram and I are in agreement. All systems go. Bellingham in.
Bellingham in. I am Bellingham in. I watch him today.
Win the title.
Kid
all
is
systems go.
player.
Bellingham in.
Yeah.
Bellingham in. Simple.
I've been hearing around the circuit that the move to Liverpool might not happen for various reasons, and Liverpool are really cash strapped at the moment as well.
140 mil is a lot of money now. 30 mil, what the number is, it's a big money. It's big money. He's 19 though.
Stanley, you can afford it, man.
Yeah, we're hearing a lot.
Yeah, of course I can. Champions League. That's 100 mil right there. I just gotta get 40 mil from someplace. Sell Pepe and a few more players, and I'm good.
For sure.
By the way, guys, so listen, that's it from us for today. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to be posting the results up on Twitter and the YouTube channel and the forum so that you guys can see what our predictions was and break them down and compare them to your own. I do have some news flash, though. For those of you who follow the Women's League, a absolutely cracking result today. Nobody expected. City have beaten Chelsea, and that has changed the scope. Chelsea are defending champions. That now changes the scope of the league and it opens it up for United, City, and Arsenal. It's now turned into Chelsea looking like that they were going to win back-to-back titles to now all four teams really having a chance. It's a great result. It's a home game for City, and I'm quite surprised, actually. I didn't think that this was going to be the result that was going to happen today, and it's going to send shockwaves through the Women's League. So well done to you guys for slowing down Chelsea. At one point, so Chelsea, I think that they had only lost one game all season before that. So yeah, it's a huge result there. But listen, guys, thanks for today. Enjoy the rest of the weekends.
Did you say happy birthday to Mikel Arteta?
Yes, happy birthday today. Happy birthday, Tets.
Listen, man, this guy, look, my manager, all accolades to Arteta. They're probably starting away right now and celebrating, and he deserves it, man. It couldn't happen to the nicer guy. I kept saying to you guys,
I don't know if it's a good thing to have dictators being successful. I'm not sure that's good.
Please.
Bertram, don't like the dictator thing.
But I don't know. You see that dictators across the world nowadays seem to be having their way. I don't know.
And you forgot to mention Arsenal ladies beating Tottenham 5-1.
Oh yeah, well, that's a gimme, man. What a result that was for the girls.
Tottenham nowadays is just a beat stick for us across the board. So
yeah. I think they're gonna break the team up next season. I think they're gonna. Yeah, I don't know whether Kane is going to stay or go, But I
Spurs
think
is not in a good place. Spurs are going to fall behind further. Look at Newcastle, Man U coming back. Liverpool have to regroup. You know, even Brighton is coming up. If they don't sell their players and they buy a few more players, they're in a good place. So,
I don't expect Spurs to fall back. Levy won't let that happen.
No, Tony. They will fall back as it relates to the teams who are at the top. Just think about it.
Yeah.
Chelsea's going to be better than Spurs next year.
Yeah.
We will be. Man City will be. Liverpool, Newcastle, I expect to be.
Yeah.
And it's going to be tough for them.
And they'll still be waiting for Richarlison to score his first goal. Anyway, guys, that's it from us. Have a great weekend, and we will catch up with you once the Leeds game come on. We'll do some previews for that, man.
Countdown.
Peace out, people. Have a good one.
Have
Nice
a
one,
good
everybody.
one.